You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the continuation of our top 8. We're in the losers bracket of the Season 5 Invitational of the Eternal Tournament Series. I'm, of course, your host, Bairdrus, once again joined by my wonderful co-host, LighsOutAce.
Yeah, and we are joined by our wonderful players, Hulkbuster and Angry Chicken. You've seen them on stream already today. You know what's up. We got big combo versus TJP. Angry Chicken fighting to make his way into his third Invitational Finals in a row. Just has to win 2 more matches and he can do it.
Yeah, all he has to do is win his way in here, and then he's going to end up playing against our other losers finalist, who, of course, we just saw going down there to Sunnyvale. And this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, we've seen similar matches to this earlier in the day. I mean, Hulkbuster ended up taking down Hythar, who Hythar had come from the winners bracket after he lost what amounts to a similar matchup. I mean, obviously not the same matchup, but it's somewhat close to Missing Toe's deck. We got 3 factions in here, which allow you a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the last Combrade versus TPX matchup, where it's like Crystallize just gives Hulkbuster a big advantage when the game gets sold out.
Yep, Crystallize really is coming in to be the MVP, and Angry Chicken not having stand together in the main, as we talked about earlier. I believe he has 1 copy in the main, and that's all. So he's going to be waiting until his sideboard till he can really pull it off. I mean, we're seeing some very early aggression out of Hulkbuster here. Now that he's got that Zenith Obelisk in play, he's got the 4/5 Seraph chugging away, and Angry Chicken's just going to have to fire off the Great Parliament to find some way to stop him.
Yeah, he gets to double block the Seraph, loses his Seraph or Bird, depending, and then gets to go into Iron Thorn, then Ascendant, maybe off by a turn on those, just because he has to seek for his 5th power right now.
Yeah, very true. Probably, Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster has some interesting consideration on this turn now. Like, he could drop double units. Like, if he plays the Sigil, you have to imagine he's going for double units. Otherwise, he could just go seek power, play a power, and play whichever card in his hand he feels like is the best. Which is actually a hard decision here. I mean, I feel like you probably want to get Kothan down. But like, if you want to
seek Kothan so that you can ult it next turn.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he goes Kothan now and he doesn't play a second card, I definitely feel like this is a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you know that that Chicken isn't running Harsh Rule in the main, so like you kind of free to just like make a 6/6 and a 4/5 flyer and just like start crunching. Once the second Obelisk is in play, that is.
Yeah, exactly. The faster you go, the better this is. I mean, he does hit the Seek power now after he plays the Obelisk, so that's fine. Like, this all ends up working out. Since he goes for that line. Angry Chicken is going to have his Seek power so he can set up for the Martial Ironthorn next turn, and this is going to allow him to put Sandstorm Titan down now, which will ground his Bird, but also creates a very big body. Now the Seraph can't just cruise over it.
Yeah, Titan was a really good draw for him, just like filled that otherwise dead turn for him. Suddenly he gets to just like lock up the board really nicely.
Yeah, it's not bad here. But Hulkbuster picked up another power, so if he can find another power next turn, like, he can go Kothan into a Silence this turn if he wants on the Sandstorm Titan. And then next turn... because he needs 1 more power. Yeah, so he can just wait this turn then, and he can drop a power, picks up another power in the next turn. He ultimates Kothan and then silences Sandstorm Titan. And he's got 2 very large bodies in the air to beat down with.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision point. Does he want to silence the Titan and Bird in the air? Or just want to save the Enforcer for, I don't know, Seraph or Ascendant or Ironthorn or something along the line? And it looks like he just wants to silence that Titan and hope that his 3 double Obelisk boosted flyers get him there.
Yeah, I definitely think you're silencing Titan there. Like, there are some other considerations. Certainly, like, Mystic Ascendant is a scary card, but I think if you just silence Titan here, you're going to win the battle in the air. Like, he's already able to pop off. Now he's got 2 attackers this turn. He'll have 3 next turn, and we'll see. I haven't seen his hand yet. No, he got a Sandstorm Titan, but he still has 1 more draw step to hit another power to boost them even higher. And meanwhile, Angry Chicken just really doesn't have a way to interact with any of this. Like,
yeah, Chicken has basically 1 turn to draw a Titan of his own, or a Parliament. Well, that's only chump blocks though.
Yeah, exactly. Parliament's just going to be chump blocks. And, if he doesn't find a power, another Obelisk was pretty good there from Hulkbuster. I mean, this is just getting absurd. Like, if he finds a power next turn, now he's got 6/6 extra stats on all these units. Like, this is ridiculous. And
That's actually just lethal.
Yeah.
Triple Obelisk pretty good.
Yeah, it turns out Triple Obelisk is pretty good. Yeah, I missed the lethal count there. Hulkbuster going to take down that game very convincingly against Angry Chicken. I mean, that has to be his game plan these first few games. Like, he's got cards like Kothon. He just takes to the skies and win the match that way. And, I mean, it worked out quite well for him, you have to say.
Yeah, he just won on turn 8. Like, yeah, Chicken went like Titan into Ascendant, or Titan into Iron Thorn into Ascendant, and then just died. Like, he basically he pulled off the big combo game plan, and it wasn't big enough.
Yep. Like, that definitely ended up working out for him there. And we are going to be loading into our second game here before the player's sideboard. See how this one turns out. I mean, if it's anywhere at all similar to the first game, like, we obviously know how it's going to go. But then again, you can't always bank on having 3 flyers and 3 obelisks. So there is certainly that.
Yeah, and post-board it certainly evens up, because then instead of just Obelisk making Hulkbuster's units the biggest, baddest boys around, Angry Chicken gets Harsh Rule to sort of even the score.
Yep. See if he can even it up. I mean, I think he's really going to need to as well. Like, we'll probably see a very similar line to what we saw Hulkbuster do the first time around he played a matchup similar to this. And he's probably going to side in the Silverwing Riders and go for a similar game plan where he's going to kind of throw his opponent off. And the Silverwing Riders are just like very good in general. I mean, as a giant 5/4 body, that really puts a wrench in the plan of Angry Chicken. He just doesn't have a way to deal with flyers in his deck very easily outside of Sandstorm Titan. And obviously, we've seen that there are plenty of ways for him to answer Sandstorm Titan. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see as we go into this game. I mean, if there's no split here, I have to imagine Hulkbuster can get 1 out of 3 games.
All right. Looks like Chicken and Hulk challenge each other at the same time, so their challenges go through or something. I'm not sure what happened there, but they're in game now. So
yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's take a look at these opening hands. See what players are mulliganing into. Angry Chicken has the play. It's always good for him. And Hulkbuster, not a lot going on. I wouldn't be surprised if he ships this hand just because he doesn't have any units, and he can't afford to get behind, in my opinion, in this matchup. Like, that's how you lose against Big Combry. It's like the longer this goes, like, the further you fall behind, and that happens very, very quickly.
Well, I think he kept because it has all of his factions in a deck that takes like triple of 3 different factions. And then also has an Obelisk going to stand together. So like he is going to have the best guys once he draws some guys.
Yeah, this is true though. And he did pick up a scouting party, so that's good. He's going to be able to get to at least 4 power off of the Amber Acolyte. And Angry Chicken, I mean, he's already thrown a blocker in the way, but as we said, this is more of a battle in the air. Both players are looking to take to the skies. Kothon, very solid pickup for Hulkbuster here. That'll set him up for the later turns, and he already has the Obelisk, so now he's just basically looking to draw straight up to 8 power. If he draws up to 8 power, he's going to be in a good position.
It's interesting that here, again, Chicken opted for Parliament on 4 over Iron Thorn on 5, even though he wasn't under pressure this time. Like, he could have just seeked power and played Iron Thorn next turn, but now he's kind of getting greedy and wants to play Iron Thorn plus power in the same turn.
Yeah, I think part of it also actually is just that I feel like Chicken really wanted to just go for an aggressive line himself. Like, if your opponent's playing very slow out of the gate and he hasn't made any nasty flyers, like, if you just drop a Parliament and you start pressuring, like, you are putting your opponent on a very fast clock. And you're going to force some answers out of them. Like, we do see the Desert Marshal here, but yeah, hey, you'd rather see the Desert Marshal on that than on the Marshal Iron Thorn. Unfortunately, Hulkbuster does have the Vanquished follow-up, but Angry Chicken had the Protect anyway, so that'll kind of lock that down for the time being. Hulkbuster might go into a Vanquish here now. I'll be curious to see, though. He could also just go into a card like Xenon Obelisk here and set up for next turn.
Yeah, and he even has the Initiative of the Sands to like fill up that 5th power. So I kind of like the Obelisk line, especially with a stand together in hand as well. Like, next turn you get the ultimate Kothon using the Initiative of the Sands power, and then the turn after that you get to stand together, and it's like suddenly you have so many huge flyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Be just like last game.
Yep, exactly. Angry Chicken has double Vanquish too, and it's really just not going to do a lot here. Like it'll hang out in his hand for the most part. Although Hulkbuster, yeah, Hulkbuster's gonna have some considerations here. I don't think you ult Kothon this turn. I think if anything, you Vanquish and you swing in and you hold up stand together.
Yeah. Yep. I like that. You just stand no matter what blocks are made. Just push a bunch of damage.
Exactly. Yeah. No matter how it's made, like your units are going to survive, so you can just go ahead and drop stand together, and you're going to push through a bunch of damage. Next turn, you can go ahead and ultimate Kothon, which will leave the Owl vulnerable to Vanquish, but that was pretty much always going to happen. There was really no way around that. He does have another Kothon too, so this is pretty great for him actually.
Yeah. So Chicken has a Sandstorm Titan to ground all of the flyers. Well, the potential flyers. Hulkbuster hasn't actually ultimated the cards yet. But even with the flyers grounded, Hulkbuster is just going to have such a large board after he scouting parties and plays this other Kothon. Like, and then with the Obelisk buff, he's just going to be able to swarm around him.
Yeah, and it depends on the sequencing here. Like, Angry Chicken's making a lot of considerations right here. Like, part of him, I'm sure, feels like he might want to, like, double Vanquish Kothon. Just to take it off the board right now. It's essentially the same thing as like vanquishing the Owl that Kothon's going to produce, but then you don't have to worry about Kothon flying in case your Sandstorm Titan's removed. If Angry Chicken opens with Sandstorm Titan, though, you're kind of opening the floodgates for Hulkbuster to just drop Scouting Party in here.
It looks like he does go for the double Vanquish line. Yeah, I agree with what you said there. That's good. Just preemptively killing the Owl, basically.
Yeah, and now that he's taken that down, yeah, like I said, he doesn't have to worry about the 4/5 flyer as well, which would just, trump his Owl. Yeah, we're gonna see Angry Chicken swing in. He's just still pressuring. I mean, this is essentially why Angry Chicken went for that early play. Like, this is why he got aggressive. Like, if he swings in here, it's entirely predicated on the fact that he wanted to win the game faster. That being said, I mean, look at Hulkbuster's board. I don't think you can afford to swing in here as much as he would really like to. You definitely have to keep some units back for blocking. And yeah, Hulkbuster's is going to throw in the 4/3s, and then I have to imagine he follows up with the Scouting Party. Like, just getting that number of 2/2s down is pretty good here.
Yeah, so by Chicken holding back with the bird, he took 0 instead of 7. Like, he wasn't going to be able to, like, tempo Hulk down. So good on him leaving the bird back and trading it off. Very disciplined.
Yep, there was some consideration there, but I mean, at this point, like, Hulkbuster's he's just in a ridiculously commanding position. Like, he swings in with all the units here. Like, you have to block
for 11, draw 2 cards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Your opponent goes down to 5. You still outnumber them by 2 units. You're at 7 power, so you're definitely going to pick up. I mean, with 2 cards and another draw step, like, you should pick up 1 more power, so he'll be able to make the Obelisk active on 8 next turn. Yeah, there's an Amber Acolyte and another body. Like, this is just completely in Hulkbuster's favor. I think Angry Chicken is just done here.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, this Temple Scribe, I guess, keeps him alive for, but I don't know how he turns this around.
Oh, this is going to be huge, though. He's going to swing in with the Sandstorm Titan, and then it's going to get silenced.
Oh, yeah, because he wanted to protect up after planting. Won't be able to block with it.
Yep, won't be able to block with the Endurance. I mean, he's just going to outnumber him here now. Like, that's definitely lethal. He's not going to be able to block more than 3 units, and all of them do 2 damage, and now they'll all do 3, so... Yeah, even with the Titan back, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, Hulkbuster taking the quick 2-0 lead on the back of Xenon Obelisk, really. It's like Xenon Obelisk and the stand together as more effective copies of Xenon Obelisk, just making so many guys that are so big.
Yeah. That was a very nice series right there for him, so... I'd say series like it's already over. No, this is certainly not over. We're going into sideboarding. First 2 games, and Hulkbuster able to take it down 2-0. Like, I have to imagine he's very favored here now. But let's take a look at the sideboards. I mean, Angry Chicken is a very strong competitor. Like, he's definitely come back from these series before.
Yeah, I mean, just most importantly here, he gets his harsh rules.
Yep, now he gets to bring in the harsh rules. But as we were mentioning earlier, the last time we had a deck like this, where more removal and more silences were going to be brought in, or not more removal, more silences, but as the deck was transforming, we saw Hulkbuster transition out of Sandstorm Titan and bring in the Flyers instead. And I have to imagine this is going to be a similar situation. Like, that's kind of the game plan I feel like if I'm Hulkbuster, I want to be on. Like, I want to just play all of my Flyers, bring in some copies of cards like Xenon Initiation for some direct removal on Sandstorm Titan, bring in my extra copy of Crystallize, and just fight in the air. Like, you're going to win the air battle every time.
You think he takes to the skies here?
Yeah, I have to say, I think he's going to take to the skies.
I don't think it matters. I think you just as long as you have the obelisks and the stand togethers, and Chicken only has stand togethers, like, your guys are just going to be bigger. It doesn't matter if they fly or not. You're just pounding through.
To some extent, sure. The problem is when you don't draw, like, you have to draw like multiple of obelisks to make your units better. Like, I mean, Sandstorm Titan itself is pretty good, but Sandstorm Titan is also susceptible to a range of removal that the Flyers necessarily aren't. Like, I like the Silverwing Riders a little bit better because they're not straight up dead to Vanquish, and the silence doesn't hurt them as much. Like, they don't lose the endurance. And I just like being able to pressure your opponent down in the air more. Like, I think it opens up the obelisks to being even better than they would be on the ground. Instead of having to fight over those clunky board stalls, you're basically always guaranteeing you're going to get your damage done. And really the only card that ever checks you in that case is going to be Sandstorm Titan. And if you think that Angry Chicken is going to convert into Harsh Rules, which I have to imagine he will here, bringing in the Silverwing Rider is just so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the only problem for Hulkbuster post board is finding 15 cards to sideboard out.
Yeah, I mean, he does want to bring in a lot of this list, really. Like, Xenon Initiation's very good. Dawnwalker's very good. The extra copy of Stand Together is pretty good. Shelterwing Rider's great. I don't even know if he needs to bring in the Surso here, honestly. Like, it's good. But it also dies and gets silenced, like, a lot. Like, that's the one thing, is, like, Big Combry has a lot of ways to shut Surso off, so... I mean, I still think it's very good. I don't know, maybe not as enough. I also don't know if you need your extra copy of Scouting Party, but it does let you reload, so... like you said, I mean, finding 15 cards to side out is essentially going to be the only constraint on Hulkbuster converting a lot of this deck over.
Yeah, and it looks like he decided to remove Xenon Initiation and Sandstorm Titan from his deck and go on the Sheltering Rider Crystallize plan.
Yeah, and I really like this, honestly, I have to say. Like, I think this is very smart out of Hulkbuster, and I can imagine that it's facilitated a lot of how he's gotten to this point. It's like, you're playing a deck like this, for example, where your opponent's got all these Harsh Rules in the sideboard. Like, you know he's going to bring in copies of Harsh Rule, or at least you assume he's going to counter the board you're building. So you just bring in cards like Shelterwing Rider and extra copy of Stand Together, and you just shut your opponent down. Like, they really aren't going to have a lot of ways to interact here. And you still keep in your copies of Vanquish, so you can take care of Sandstorm Titan, and you have silences for it. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like all good news from here.
Yeah. All right, looks like he actually decided to remove Seraphs as the last card. That's pretty crazy. Your deck is so good, you don't even want Seraph in? Holy crap.
Yeah, like I said, like, if your game plan is to win in the air, like, I think I agree with that in a weird way. Like, I think Seraph is, like, such a good value generator at late game that it's a very hard cut to make. But on some level, I think it's okay to lose Seraph here, since if you're recognizing your game plan is going to be early aggression and getting big in the air, you don't want this to go to a late game. Like, this is not a late game scenario for you. You're trying to end this game as quickly as possible. And I have to say, like, Hulkbuster's hand, pretty good. That's basically exactly what he's going to be doing. And he's on the play, so...
Yeah, this gets to make a couple Awakened students big, protect them with Stand Together. Yeah. And Angry Chicken's hand, the other hand, is, like, very weak. Like, to protect, that card is at its weakest in this matchup. Like, Vanquish is good, but, like, you only have one interactive card.
Yeah, exactly. Not fantastic. He will get to use the Vanquish, fortunately. But we're also going to see a Dawnwalker coming down for Hulkbuster pretty soon. And, like, it's just another one of those, like, scary threats where you get that a couple obelisks, you buff it up a little bit. Like,
you Stand Together it? Aegis Dawnwalker?
Yeah, Aegis Dawnwalker's pretty good, I have to say. We're going to see Vanquish here into a Find the Way.
Yep, so it gets one of those vanquishes off like under the stand together, which is really good. But it's not like stand together is going to be bad at any point. Like whenever Hulk finds time to play it, it's going to be great.
Yep. And he's just going to buff this up and play the Dawnwalker this turn. Then next turn, he's got the stand together. He's ready to go. And Angry Chicken just, yeah, he's drawn pretty dead right here. Like, he's picked up way too much power. I think, unfortunately for him, like, this is not going his way in the slightest.
Yeah, and his big comeback card, Harsh Rule, is just like completely useless against Stand Together and Scouting Party.
Yep, and we're just going to see the damage get forced through right here. I don't even know what Hulkbuster's pickup for the turn was. Like, if it's another solid 3-drop or a power, like, this is great. Oh, it's a Xenon Obelisk, actually. Yeah, he's electing not to go with the Xenon Obelisk so he can set up the Stand Together right now and protect the... Go ahead.
Yeah, wants the Aegis Dawnwalker.
Yeah, he wants the Aegis Dawnwalker. He also just wants the Aegis on the Awakened Student right now. Although, Angry Chicken does have Protects, which, unless I'm mistaken, you can throw that at a unit to bust an Aegis.
Yep, yeah, that is another use to Protect here to pop the Aegis. Although you need a follow-up spell, and Chicken is on no follow-up spells except for another Protect.
Yeah, though if he does pick up a Harsh Rule here, it's likely that Hulkbuster is actually going to go in with the Scouting Party here. I at least have a feeling he might try some play like that. So, if Hulkbuster does commit here, Scouting, if he goes with the Scouting Party, if he picks up a Harsh Roll, this could be a pretty big turning point.
Yeah, because then Hulk's only follow-up would be like Obelisk hit for 7, but it looks like it's going to be Obelisk hit for 15, and that should pretty much be the ball game at that point.
Yeah, that's basically going to do it here. I'm pretty sure that's just the end of the game. Like, it's not going to be over this turn, but there's going to be no answers next turn for this. Like, 15 damage coming in, you're set to 2. You absolutely have to hit the Protect into Harsh Rule play now. Like, and on top of that, Hulkbuster picked up another Xenon Obelisk, so any unit is just always going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, drawing 4 cards, probably going to have enough gas in the tank,
Yep, he's got the Kothon down. Hits a Combri healer, but that's not going to be enough. He just gets overwhelmed on the board. And a Hulkbuster with the first, I believe anyway, the first convincing series of the day, taking it down 3-0.
Yeah, so Angry Chicken will finish 4th, not make it to the finals for the 3rd consecutive invitational, but he is super, super locked for Worlds now with his series points. So
yeah,
he can't be too sad about his performance this weekend.
Yeah, we're certainly going to be seeing Angry Chicken at Worlds. He is looking pretty great here, you have to say. So sad he had to go down in this round and he couldn't go for the Tree-Peat, but did quite well altogether. So
yeah, so after this, we're going to have losers finals coming up between Missing Toes and Hulkbuster. So expect some Crystallized and Xenon Obelisk action galore. We're going to see some big dinosaurs crash into each other. So stay tuned.